Hello, everybody. First of all, I hope you all can hear me over there. Thumbs up, yes? You can hear me good? Amazing. I'm gonna try to speak a little bit slower so that you can keep up with me. Good afternoon. I am pleased to be here on the panel. I want to thank Counterfire. I want to thank Shabir also, who's a very good and old friend of mine, for inviting me. I wish I was able to come here on and be with you in London. Unfortunately, I couldn't travel. Hopefully, I'll be there another time. I'm gonna try and use my 10 minutes wisely. I think perhaps I can try and answer the question of this panel pretty quickly, and then I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the bookshop and the raids. So what is driving the genocide? And, you know, when I was asked this question, when I knew the panel was going to be on this question, you know, 10 minutes are not enough to answer this question in one way. But in another way, it's actually pretty simple too. So I decided to stick to the simple answer. And I made a note of paper, on a paper of what is really driving this genocide. And I came up with maybe four, you know, we can expand them to 5 or 6 simple points. And I think, you know, this is what I'm gonna be telling you about basically. I think, you know, the occupation of Palestine have started in 1967. The creation of the State of Israel was started in 1948. You know, the Palestinians are not new to the Israeli crimes, to the Israeli various massacres that happen, you know, every few years. The wars on Gaza that, you know, this is the 6th or the 7th war already. We lose count even. So there is a long-term plan by the State of Israel to basically ethnic cleanse Palestine. You know, a little bit here, a little bit in this village, a war in Gaza, an invasion in the West Bank. You know, we hear of this all the time. But I think in the last year and a half, Israel saw an opportunity that what happened in the 7th of October, basically Israel decided to go full on and used this and still uses this as an opportunity. Of course, it's collective punishment. Of course, it's, you know, inadequate response, if you like, but basically it's an opportunity that the State of Israel now can use this opportunity and keep going and going and going and going until it basically destroys Gaza. And actually, Gaza is pretty destroyed today. When you talk about 90% or 85% of buildings destroyed, no infrastructure, you know the statistics. I'm not going to go through. So I think that's one main element is the seizing of the opportunity. That's completely, you know, disgusting, actually. Second point, I think the political gain that the current government Israel is basically gaining. There is an increase on the far right that has started over 30 years ago. It is continuing. Started then and it's continuing. Today, in the last couple of years, we have gone to the peak of it, I think, when we have far-right radicals who are basically controlling the government, who are ministers for the police and for finance, who basically control where the money goes, control where what the police invest in and go. And of course, they are driving also this genocide, let alone, you know, this comes hand in hand with the political gain of Benjamin Netanyahu. Those who know the internal Israeli politics also know that Benjamin Netanyahu have basically cheated every partner he had to create a government. And this is the last government that he could form with very right-wing politicians who he can't upset and he can't lose, because the moment he loses them, he basically would lose elections, or he will not be able to form another coalition. So that is his last political game, if you want. At least this is what statistics say. And he is also using it not to leave power. He has 4 cases against him of corruption. And because he's a prime minister, he's not being tried. And the moment he loses this opportunity, then he will be tried. If he continues to be in war, if he continues to kill people in Gaza, this government doesn't fall. The focus will be on Gaza and not on the internal political discussions inside Israel. And he can get a pass until basically this term finishes, which is another year and a half. A third element to this genocide continuing, I think, is that Israel is above the law. Israel is above the law. Israel, since 1948 until today, have broken any law you think about international law, Israel kills people every day, arrests kids, arrests women, arrests men, destroy houses, puts up checkpoints, search people in the street. Basically doesn't give the sense freedom of speech, freedom of expression. I was myself a victim of this. There's no freedom of movement being given. The list is long. I can't really say it all, but there is international law that's being broken on a daily basis. There's human rights, basic human rights that are not being given to the Palestinians on a daily basis. Yet, I don't know how Israel does it. They continue to do it every single day with no question. So Israel is above the law. We put international law, we put UN resolutions, and then it's just, they're not applicable to Israel. Who to blame for this, I don't really know. Is it international law itself? It is those who should implement international law. Who should implement international law? Because then we get into another question, because if superpowers in the world were the ones who are going to implement this, they're actually complicit in this genocide also. And that's my fourth point. The fourth point is, or fourth and fifth, if you want, is the unlimited support that Israel gets from various European and American leaders and basically countries in terms of supplying them with weapons, but also the lip service that many European leaders and surely the United States does to the state of Israel. Basically defending, Israel, whatever Israel does, it kills children, it kills, it destroys home, it kills infrastructure, it collectively punishes people. It doesn't matter. Israel is defending itself, and with this phrase, we can see how Israel is defending itself by killing 50,000 basically Palestinians, and a war that is still going on. I think that's another reason why the genocide is continuing, and perhaps finally. I think the world is so busy as well. There is Israel, Palestine, Gaza. Of course, it's a long conflict. Of course, it's a major conflict in the Middle East. But the Middle East is full of issues, and I think a lot of issues that happen to in other countries. A lot of if you open the map of the Middle East, there's a conflict in Syria, there's a conflict in Lebanon, there's a conflict in Yemen, there's a conflict in Sudan. The world is busy focusing also on other conflicts. And I think all of these, those who are benefiting from these conflicts actually sees this again as an opportunity because the world is busy. Surely they still focus on Palestine. I'm not saying there isn't, and on Gaza, but I think the large number of conflicts that are going on in the world also kind of drives people's attention sometimes from Gaza. Not that I justify it, but I'm just saying this could be also a reason or adds to the pool. So this is my short attempt on trying to answer this question. I don't know if I still have time to talk about the bookshop. Do I?
You have 2 minutes.
2 minutes. I'll try and be very quick. What happened here in Jerusalem on the 9th of February, we were raided. We have 2 branches here on Salah ad-Din Street. I was working in one. Mahmoud, my uncle, was working on another one. We were just across the street from each other. 2:30, we were raided by undercover Israeli police. They came into the shop, presented us with search warrants. They're looking for books that are basically have inciting content. Of course, we don't have such books. And let me be clear, inciting against the state of Israel, books that are promoting terrorism, this is what they were looking for. Looked like they were looking for specific books. We asked them what they're looking for. If we have it, we'd give it to them. They refused our cooperation, or basically, we didn't want the shop to be on the floor because we know what these raids look like from, what we've seen. We live here. We know how does it look like. And basically, they refused. They searched the shop, but they also destroyed the shop at the same time. Every book they didn't want was on the floor. After 2 hours, we had half of the bookshop on the floor with books being stepped on, bent, damaged, destroyed, shelves being broken. We tried to interfere in the middle to try and put things in order, but they refused. Anyway, long story short, 300 books were confiscated. Mahmoud and I were arrested. We spent the next 2 nights in custody. We were taken to court the next day for, basically, when the police decided after 24 hours, they had to take us to court. So of detention, after 24 hours of detention, we had to be presented to the judge. And basically, the police asked for 8 days of extension because they need to look into all the books that they have. We told them that we have no such books of what they're looking for. And all our books are in English and in Arabic, are published by highly reputable publishing houses. We are imported from, they're in English, they're printed in the UK or in the USA. There is nobody would risk, even like no publishing house would risk publishing things that are not, that can get them in trouble, and everything is bibliographed and referenced and searched and so on. Anyway, a long story short, we ended up with one more night in custody because the judge could not be convinced. But anyway, we went from 8 to 1. We spent one more night, 5 days of house arrest. We had to pay a bail. We had to pay a release fee. We were released into 5 days of house arrest. 20 days we were not allowed back into the shop. 1 week after we came back to the shop, so this is a month later now, we got raided again. My father was arrested, 50 further books confiscated, same process. And when we get to the police station with the lawyers and so on, we get told that somebody complained about us because we have dangerous books. This is why they raided us. And they claimed that they have no relationship to the first raid. Anyway, we're released. We're back in business. The shop was always open. We have a mission here, which is promoting Palestinian literature, Palestinian culture, identity, writers. Basically, we have 1,500 books here in the bookshop, and that's our mission. And we're here back doing it, and we're not going to be closed because of these raids. And one last point is, I know you guys have copies of this book in there. I encourage you to buy it because this is part of our promoting literature. Is also that one of my colleagues here in the bookshop wrote this book. Mahmoud is my uncle, and I know you have copies over there from it. I encourage you to buy it. Thank you so much.